Maybe that could be, huh? Alright. I guess anything else? I get sued all the time. Y'all.
Appeared in court today over illegal appointments she allegedly made for several positions inside the village.
Let's dive into the latest scandal that's shaking up the small town of Dotun. If you thought local politics couldn't get any more dramatic, think again. We're about to unpack the outrageous behavior of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the self-styled super mayor who's been grabbing headlines for all the wrong reasons. From courtroom showdowns to federal investigations, this political firestorm is far from over, and you won't want to miss a second of it. But hold tight, because what you're about to hear will leave you wondering how someone like Tiffany Henyard is still holding on to power.
Night involving a controversial politician in the south suburbs. Tiffany Henyard was the only Thornton Township leader to show up for a scheduled...
Imagine this, a small village already drowning in debt, being led by a mayor who acts as though she rules over her own personal kingdom. Mayor Tiffany Henyard isn't just tangled in legal issues. No, it goes much deeper than that. She's under investigation for financial mismanagement, with accusations that she's been treating taxpayer funds like her own private wallet. Meanwhile, the village is deep in the red, millions of dollars in debt. As if that weren't enough, she's also butting heads with her own village trustees, who are desperately trying to prevent her from causing even more damage. But for Tiffany, there's no retreat. She's fighting fiercely to hold on to her power, even as the walls close in around her.
Very appreciative to receive the information today. We have the best mayor ever. I've been here since 1993.
Let's start by diving into the legal mess Tiffany Henyard has found herself tangled in. Not long ago, Cook County Judge Stus Wilson delivered a scathing blow to the mayor's actions with a tough ruling. He issued a restraining order that blocked her from making several crucial appointments, including selecting a new village attorney, village administrator, and, believe it or not, a new police chief. Why? Because Tiffany didn't bother to get approval from the village board before attempting to make these appointments. The judge wasn't having it. He ruled that she lacked the legal authority to do what she did and warned that if she continued to disregard court orders, she could be held in contempt of court. That's right, she's walking a dangerous line, and the consequences of her actions could be severe.
The judge today declining to hold her in contempt, but did warn her that if she did not follow the ruling, he would.
So why is this also controversial? Well, the individuals Tiffany Henyard attempted to appoint are far from spotless. To put it mildly, one of her picks, Michael Smith, has a history that's raising serious concerns, and let's just say there's a reason the village board wasn't exactly thrilled with her choices. Then there's Angela Lockett, another appointee who was seen as a loyalist to Henyard, which only deepened suspicions that the mayor was trying to stack the deck in her favor. The village board wasn't about to let this slide. They took her to court to stop her from bypassing the rules, and that's when Judge Wilson stepped in, effectively saying, "Not on my watch." But that's just the beginning. Brace yourself, because it gets even juicier. As if the court battle wasn't enough, Tiffany Henyard is now under federal scrutiny. Yes, the FBI is involved. They've been digging into her financial dealings, and the findings are downright alarming. The village of Dotun is reported to be more than $3 million in debt, and Henyard's spending habits are a major factor. To add to the fire, former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot has been brought in as a special investigator to take a closer look at the village's finances. What she's uncovered so far is nothing short of shocking. There's been rampant credit card spending, money missing from the general fund, and, believe it or not, a ton of unaccounted-for Amazon purchases. Tiffany reportedly spent tens of thousands of taxpayer dollars on items from the online retailer, and no one knows exactly what they were for. In one day alone, she racked up a staggering $40,000 in charges. $40,000. What on earth could she possibly need from Amazon that would justify that kind of expense?
It's shameful. Y'all are a disgrace.
We're watching the fall of this administration.
Lightfoot's investigation revealed that the financial situation in the village is even worse than anyone could have anticipated. Tiffany Henyard's spending has created a massive hole that could take years to recover from. According to Lightfoot's findings, the general fund had a negative balance of $3.65 million as of May 31st, and the village's financial records are in such disarray that it's virtually impossible to determine where all the money went. To make matters worse, there are nearly no receipts for credit card purchases, and overtime payments for certain village employees have spiraled out of control. Take the police department, for example. 2 officers made more in overtime than in their actual base salary. One officer racked up over $100,000 in overtime alone during a single fiscal year, while another earned $87,000 in overtime. This isn't just bad management. It's bordering on the absurd. It's like something straight out of a movie, but unfortunately, it's all too real.
Judge issued a temporary restraining order blocking her from making those appointments without approval from trustees.
And here's where things take a personal twist. Rumor has it that one of Henyard's closest allies, her boyfriend, is now a key witness in the federal investigation. Yes, you heard that right. Her own boyfriend is reportedly spilling the beans, offering testimony that could be disastrous for her political career. Word around town is that he's been cooperating with investigators, and his testimony includes explosive allegations that Henyard misused village funds for personal vacations and accepted bribes from contractors. If these allegations are true, Henyard's political future looks incredibly grim. I mean, how do you recover from something like that? Let's take a step back and examine the bigger picture. Henyard's leadership style has always been, well, unconventional. She calls herself a super mayor and has amassed a loyal following, but she's also been branded a dictator by many of her critics. And honestly, the evidence supports that claim. Since day one, she's been clashing with the village trustees, fighting resolutions, disregarding the board's decisions, and when she doesn't get her way, she attempts to go behind their backs to push her own agenda. Sound familiar? It's a classic power grab, and it's all been blowing up in her face. Take the public meetings, for example. They've turned into full-blown spectacles, with residents booing her off the stage. There was one infamous incident at the Park District Fieldhouse where Henyard showed up late, only to be met with a chorus of jeers. People were shouting at her to resign, and she ended up leaving in disgrace. It was pure chaos. And it's not just the residents. Her own trustees have had enough of her antics. 4 of them teamed up to block her appointments in court, and they've been pushing hard for more transparency and accountability in the village's finances. They're facing an uphill battle, but they're not backing down. Henyard, on the other hand, seems completely unfazed by the growing opposition. In fact, she's doubling down. Despite all the investigations and legal drama surrounding her, she's announced that she's running for re-election. Can you believe it? She actually thinks she can get re-elected after everything that's come to light. One commenter online said, "She announced she's running for mayor again. If they re-elect her, they deserve whatever she gives them." And honestly, you have to wonder, what will it take for the people of Doton to finally say enough is enough? Now let's talk about the village's response to all of this. You'd think after everything that's happened, Henyard would be losing support left and right. And while that's true for some, there are still people who stand by her. Believe it or not, some of her supporters are convinced this is all just a smear campaign, orchestrated by her enemies on the board. They think she's being unfairly targeted because she's a strong woman in power. Henyard herself has even played into this narrative, calling the investigations a witch hunt and claiming she's being attacked because of her gender. In one public statement, her attorney, Bo Briley, said, "Mayor Henyard has been nothing but a victim of the factional politics." Yeah, right. Victim. It's hard to buy that when the village is millions of dollars in debt and the FBI is knocking on the door.
Security firm, we made sure they had ones, and we also told our board to come upstairs due to the fact they had several ways to exit out of the...
Even with her supporters holding on, the numbers don't lie. The village is broke and the residents are starting to feel the effects. Just recently, the board had to approve layoffs for 8 village employees because they simply couldn't make payroll. And remember that property that was supposed to become the new police station? Yeah, they don't have the funds to finish it, so now they're talking about selling it. It's a mess, and Henyard's leadership is at the center of it all. Now let's get back to those federal investigations, because this is where things really start to heat up. The FBI is reportedly looking into not just Henyard's spending, but also potential ties between her administration and some shady contractors. Rumor has it that these contractors were awarded village contracts in exchange for campaign contributions, which would be a huge red flag. It's also been said that Henyard's security detail has been getting paid overtime for work that had nothing to do with their official duties. One of the former police chiefs, Robert Collins, came forward recently and spilled some tea of his own. He claimed that Henyard was using village officers as her personal chauffeurs, even sending them on errands that had nothing to do with police work. This was all happening while Doton's crime rate was skyrocketing. Talk about misplaced priorities.
Tonight, Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard is suing some village trustees over Monday's.
Henyard's use of the village's credit cards has also come under intense scrutiny. According to the investigation, she's been piling up charges for first-class flights, luxurious stays at hotels, and expensive dinners at high-end restaurants. These aren't business expenses. They're personal trips funded by taxpayers. One resident summed it up perfectly, commenting, "Tiffany still thinks a few more lies will smooth everything out. It's like she doesn't realize the people are watching, and they're not happy about it." Speaking of residents, the backlash has been overwhelming. At recent board meetings, people have been lining up to speak out against Henyard, and they're not holding back. One woman grabbed the mic and said, "We've been fighting this demon for the last 3 years, and I did call her a demon. I meant what I said." That's the kind of anger we're dealing with here. Another resident shouted, "I'm not going to stop until she's behind bars." The frustration is real, and it's not just coming from a handful of disgruntled citizens, it's widespread. As we wrap up, we want to leave you with a couple of questions. Do you think Tiffany Henyard has any chance of bouncing back from this scandal? And if you lived in Doton, would you support her in the next election? Let us know your thoughts in the comments. We're dying to hear what you think. Until next time.